I mean, it kind of plays in what I've been saying is like you have to when you're telling a documentary story, you have to have you know, a compelling lead character and find what makes, and I think everybody has something that's compelling about them. You just have to find out what it is. And then you have to allow them to speak for themselves. And I think the weakest documentaries or podcasts or anything like that, weakest interviews is when you go in saying like, I know this person is like this, and I'm going to ask questions that get that soundbite I want out, as
Hmm.
opposed to finding out what's important to them and allowing them to share it. Because the most beautiful interviews, no matter what they are, video interview, written, are when someone lets down their guard and just speaks freely about what matters to them. And I think in the fiction world, it's the same thing. It's a compelling character. If you have a compelling character, you can, you can have anything else in the movie. You can have a weaker, you know, shooting style. You can have weaker lighting. But if the character is compelling enough, people are going to watch. Seven, eight, like I was watching a black and white Errol Flynn movie, and I remember someone getting stabbed on a pirate ship, and the sword you could see was literally just going through their arm, and they were holding it there in a classic theatrical kind of sword fight. And I just remember thinking like, oh, this is like, that was when it registered, like, this is a movie, like this is someone made this and is pretending. People are pretending and they get paid to pretend, and I'm watching someone pretend from a long time ago, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, my friend's dad spent a lot of money on camera equipment they didn't know how to use, and every time he upgraded his cameras, he'd give us his old camera. So from the age of like literally like 7, 8, 9, we were like trying to figure out the VHS camcorder and shooting videos in his backyard and just kind of going from there. So right, yeah. Video storytelling was something that I was interested in. I mean, all through high school, my idea was like I want to make horror movies. That was like my big thing that I wanted to do, and I still have a couple ideas rolling around. But I just ended up really. I went to a church growing up. My dad works at a church still to this day, and I just ended up shooting a lot of event footage. Like anytime we'd have a big gathering at the church, or a special day, I'd be running around with the camera, 15, 16, making recap videos that they'd show Sunday. And like, it was fun for me. It was like I get to see an audience watch my stuff. That's kind of cool. And
Cool and scary at the same time.
yeah, and scary. Um, but yeah, I kept doing that stuff, and I ended up. It's a long story, but I ended up meeting someone at a Christian camp. One of the it wasn't one of the counselors, but one of the guys running the camp, and I just kind of found out he did creative work and just threw up all of this stuff that I had done on him and said like, I've done this, I've done these designs, and I showed him everything. And we kind of stayed in touch. And then my senior year, he called me and said, hey, I know you're signed up to go to college, but he's like, if you would prefer, I would like to send you to India in August. So this is like
Wow.
June. This is like June. I was like, I just, or no, it was like April or May. I was just about to graduate. It was like a month out. He's like, if you'd prefer, don't go to college, and I'll send you to India to work on a documentary. And I was like, I'll be there. So
What did your
after
parents say? They had to be like, what?
my parents were actually super supportive.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, the my some of my staff at the school were not super excited about it and had other plans for me, but my parents were super supportive and just said, we don't understand the stuff that you do, but this seems like a huge opportunity.